Hey guys, welcome to this video where I'm going to go over the top 5 reasons why you should not move to Australia. Don't move here, don't move here, don't move here, don't move here. Number one, the top number one reason why you should not move to Australia is if you have family back home. Now, when you first move to Australia from wherever the hell you're coming from, whether it's Asia, Europe, South America, or like when you're moving down south to Australia, you're going to leave all your family behind. Maybe if you're coming, if you're moving on a partner visa, you're going to get your family, you're going to get your wife, and you're going to get the kids, and then you're going to move here. Unless you're a dickhead and you forget your family out there, like, hey, I'm going to Australia. Buy wife, buy kids, but you don't want to do that. You want to have your family and kids with you, obviously. But even then, you still have like your close relatives. Maybe you have like brothers, maybe you have cousins, maybe you have and your parents, all that are going to be back in the country that you're from. If you have relatives out here, that's good, that's going to help, but it like hurts in some way where you're disconnected from your family and you're moving to a new country. Obviously, you have things like Skype and video conferencing where you can now talk to each other and um, you can still keep in touch, but it's still like you kind of miss not having people around you physically in front of you, so that's something that you need to take into consideration. But so when I moved here, I had like my parents are like back in India. That's where I'm from, and my brother is back there. My brother and his wife, and my sister-in-law, and they have like a beautiful niece. I have a beautiful niece now. And yeah, when I go there for a few months, I like visited India 2 times in a year. I think 3 times so far. It's been like a year and a half. That's how much I miss like India, and I like love going back there and meeting everyone, especially my family. And you get to like play around with my cute niece, and she's at this cute age where everyone's nice, and I just like that's something that I miss not being with her. Obviously, you get to talk with her on Skype, but when you're actually there and playing with her, like that's what you kind of miss sometimes. So your family is a big thing. You're gonna miss your family, but it's temporary. Temporary. You're gonna miss them for a while, and hopefully you start your own family here. So if you're really homesick in Australia and you don't have your family, start your own family. Get married, get some kids, start your own family so that you miss your original family less. That's like bad advice, don't follow that. Okay, it's not just family, it's like friends as well. So like how you when you're in the place you are, you have friends because you've been with them for like so many years, and they really like get you, and you can share all sorts of like crazy things in your life about them. When you move to Australia for the first time, unfortunately you can't like get all your friends with you. It's like you get a visa, you can like get a visa for yourself, not for your entire like social circle. So when you get here for the first time, you have to like build your social circle from scratch. Now, if you have family and your kids, like it's going to be like easier, and maybe it's not as important to do that. I don't know, but you still want to have few friends, right? You still want to have people that you can like chill out with, talk with, go out with, enjoy the life in Australia with, because you don't want to do it alone. Doing anything alone sucks for the most part. But yeah, so you're gonna have to like work on making those new friends again, and I'll come back to that later in a later point. But just know that once you like move from your place where you're from and you move into Australia, you're gonna miss your family, you're gonna miss your friends, you're gonna miss everyone back home. Even though you're excited to start your life down here, you're still gonna miss them. So if you are a person that really like values that relationship very much, then maybe it's not the best reason for you to move to Australia. The second reason is that you don't like change. Now, when I say you don't like change, like I said, you're moving to a new country, so everything is going to be new. You're going to be setting up things for the first time. You're going to be creating your new bank account, your new utilities, your new cell phones. You're going to figure out how to get like government aid, how to make the Medicare, how to like do the entire system in Australia. That's like a pain in the ass, but it's just something that you need to do once when you get started. And then there's different things that you need to figure out for the first time. You need to get your driver's license. You need to figure out how the registration of cars and shit works. You need to figure out how the rental system works. You need to figure out how to like buy property. So everything that you learned back in your previous country or where you're from, hopefully like most of it is applicable to Australia as well. But if not, they obviously like have a few like things that are unique to Australia. For example, when I'm renting out stuff here in Australia, the rent is like weekly, it's not monthly. Now back where I'm from, you paid rent on a monthly basis, but out here it's like I'm paying rent weekly. Okay. um, yeah, so things like that you just need to get used to. It feels like you move to a new country, which is what you will be doing, so you just need to get used to those things. So coming back on this topic of not liking change, you're going to face like culture shock in Australia. So it's going to be more so of an issue for like the non-Western countries than like the Western countries. So that's what I felt, what I've learned in like speaking with others. So people who move from like South Asia or Asia or even like Africa, going to have a lot more a difficult time getting used to the culture, just because the cultures in Australia and USA and UK, even though it's like has a lot of differences, they still have a lot of like common themes to it as well. So like people from those Western countries are going to find it easier to integrate into Australia than someone moving in from Asia, China, or just any of these other countries, just because the culture is so different. There's things that the way things work in India are so different from the way things work in Australia. I'm sure someone from the United States would have that difference, but it's not as much. And if you feel that there is a lot of difference, you probably haven't lived in a country like Asia, or you haven't traveled a lot. People who have traveled have like a lot more better perspective on this than people who haven't traveled. um so yeah, everything is going to be like new for you. You're going to have like culture shock because you're used to getting used to the culture, and if you don't like change, you're going to find that very difficult. I remember when I first like got here, my cousin who lives, I say, are you ready for culture shock? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready, man. How bad can it be? I'm just here to like kill it. But it's like once I got here, I realized, oh man, things are like different. Just like how the way that you talk to people, the way you greet each other, it's just it's like different, and it takes some time to getting used to, especially if you're from these countries. But so if you are a person who doesn't like that change, don't move here because it's going to happen. um, Again, related to change, like I said, you're moving to a new country, you have to make new friends, you have to bring your social circle from scratch, and that's something that takes effort. So when I was in India, I realized that everyone who's like friends around me, I didn't choose them. I didn't like have to go out and make friends, just like turn friend because we just like hang out with each other from like school or college, or just because we were in the same locality. But like once you move to a new country for the first time, the thing is, everyone already has their own like social circle and friends, right? So because they're like from there, or like most people who are from here have their own social and friends, so it's difficult to kind of build your social circle. You got to find like people who have like similar interests, and it takes some effort to build. Maybe I'll do like another video on like how to do that. But like it takes effort to like make new friends, and depends if you're like an outgoing person, and if you like you're just naturally good at that, this is going to be like not probably not an issue for you. But if you're someone who is not so good at it naturally, then it's something that you can work upon. And if you don't like that change, don't move here, because life might not be the best without your friends. So those were the first thing. You have family. Second thing is the change, and we talked about like uh, how everything is new, how you're going to make new friends, how there's a culture shock happening. Now we're going into the third point, which is do not move to Australia if your occupation or skill is not in demand. So many of you who are moving here on like a permanent resident visa, like do your homework before coming and check if the occupation that the skill set that you have, they're like in demand in Australia. Try to talk to people who are in a similar boat as you, and trying to figure out what the ground reality is in terms of like hiring and occupations for your particular field. Now like getting jobs in Australia, it's highly dependent on the industry firm. For example, getting a job in the IT industry is going to be way different than getting a job in say an accounting industry or someone who's into like sales. um, so you need to like know what the reality is in terms of like your possibilities of you getting a job for your field. How well is your skill in demand? Because the reason why you want to do that is, if you're moving here, you might end up not getting a job in your field. So for say for example, you're like a marine engineer, and you come out here and you find out, hey, there's no like marine engineering job, so you might have to do like a casual job. You might have to like work at supermarket, uh, drive a cab or something, I don't know, or whatever it takes to get make you money. And if you're not comfortable doing that, if you're not comfortable like adjusting and acclimatizing, hopefully you get a job in your field. But if you don't, you need to be like flexible and like try other shit to make shit happen, right? So if you're not comfortable doing that, then probably not the best thing for you. And if you're really like adamant about being in your specific field, it's not for you. Now again, this varies. Like most people will get a job in their field, but some people, it depends on like supply and demand. If there's demand for your occupation and if there's less supply, the chance of you getting a job is like higher. If not, it might be a struggle for you. And coming, the reason why it's important to get a job in your field is because Australia is really expensive. It's like one of the most expensive cities in the world, especially if you're living in cities like Sydney is like very expensive. Like Perth, Melbourne, they're pretty expensive as well. So you're going to be spending a lot of money just to like live. So the amount of money that you spend on a daily basis just to live your life in Australia is a lot higher than, like again, it depends on where you're coming from. So if you're coming from London, you might find Sydney or cheaper or maybe slightly the same. If you're coming from like Asian countries, it's definitely going to be more expensive. If you're coming from US, it might be the same or slightly more expensive. So it really depends on like where from this entire world so if you guys are wondering what I'm doing, this is like Australia down here in the south. This is like India, China, Russia, Europe, and like America, South America, Africa. So I'm just doing like the global map, and that's why I'm saying like you guys moving from all these little places into like India right here, into Australia, such right here. Uh, just a quick trivia for you guys. So the word Australia comes from the word austral, which means from the south. That's why like from the south, Australia, because Australia is like in the south of the world. You didn't know that. I bet you didn't know that. Okay, so coming back to the topic, everything is going to be shit expensive here in Australia. If you don't have a job that pays well, and especially if you have like a family, you might struggle. Okay, you might struggle. Now you can do casual jobs. There's nothing wrong in doing that. But just keep in mind that it's going to be expensive. So you don't be one of those people that move to Australia and start screaming about, oh fuck, everything is so expensive in Australia. You get what you pay for. You know, you get what you pay for. The taxes out here are higher as well. Not the most highest, but it's a bit high. But yeah, you get what you pay for. Now, coming quick to point number four, you have an awesome life already. So I'm a big fan of not fixing what's not broken. So if something's not broken, like don't try to fix it. Like sometimes you have like a phone, nothing's like wrong with it. You still try to like do some tweaks, just let it be. It's not broken, just leave it the way it is. So you might be one of those few people who already have an awesome life. Everything's like fine for you. You have a great job which you're happy with and you really enjoy it. You have good friend circle around you, people that really positive and like lift you up and support you. You have family, you have maybe children, whatever it is, wherever you are in life. And if you're really, really happy with where you are and what you're doing right now, you maybe do not want to move because, like I said, there's other things that you need to deal with. And if you're not comfortable dealing with that change, then maybe do not move. Maybe you already went settled, you have a lot going on in your life as well. If you're going through some fucking personal difficulties or something, like moving has like you have its own set of like problems and things to do, and maybe it's not the time to move right now unless like moving solves some of the problems that you're facing. Like for me, like quality of life and like the air that I breathe and the water that I drink was important. So that's point number four, where if you already have an awesome life, don't break it, and think twice before you like move here at least. The fifth reason, or point number five, is why you should not move to Australia is because you hate nature. Now, the reason that I'm adding this is because I really didn't have like point number 5 think of. I had to really think hard to come up with these 5 points because the many things in Australia that I like. But point number 5 is like you hate nature, you hate sunny weather. Australia has sunny weather for most parts. You hate like the beaches, you hate like beautiful blue skies, you hate the green grass, you hate nature. If you are one of the persons that hate nature, don't come to Australia. And they also have a lot of like bugs and like huge lizards. You have what else do you have? You have spiders, you have a lot of like wildlife, you have kangaroos running about the roads. I'm joking, that doesn't happen. You don't have kangaroos running about the roads. You're going to come to Australia, I'm going to be like, hey, Steven, I was supposed to see kangaroos on the road. We're going to exit the airport and be like, where the kangaroos at, man? Is this Australia? So it doesn't work that way. The kangaroos are like away from the cities and like in the outback, and you're probably not going to see them if you're in, like a major city or around. Okay. But you do encounter some like spiders and some fucking lizards and shit. So if you can't handle that, um, maybe think twice. It's not as bad as like people say it is. Like one of my friends got stung by a jellyfish. So he went like the first time he went to the ocean, he got stung by a jellyfish, and he told me that it was like kind of a piercing feeling, like felt his nerves going back to his stomach, and he was in pain for the next uh, few hours. And his cousin just stood there laughing at him. Yeah, that could happen to you. That could be you. You could be stung by a jellyfish in the water, and you could be like in pain. No pain, no gain, boys. No pain, no gain. Okay, so that's the top 5 reasons not to move to Australia. Number one, you already have family back home and you're not okay dealing with change. You're not, you have occupation is something that really sucks and not in demand out here and you find too expensive. Number 5 is you have an awesome life already. If you have, that's awesome, and you don't want to fuck it up by like trying something new, then and you hate nature in nature. So that's 5 reasons why not to move to Australia. If you think of any more, hit the like button. If you found this useful, hit the like button. Leave me a comment if there's anything that I didn't think of. If you're in Australia and there's something that I missed, let me know. Tell me. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you're moving to Australia, also, if there's some questions that you have, drop the comment and I will get back to you. Subscribe to my channel for new videos. I put them out fairly regularly. And thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.